Hi, I'm Dr. Bart and I'm a product manager and I consider myself an introvert. And I want to tell you about it today and make sure that you know that you can be a great product manager too, even though you consider yourself an introvert. Let's begin. Hi, I'm Dr. Bart and I'll be your product management teacher. And it's a slightly different video today because on many occasions it came up that I feel like I'm an introvert, and people were surprised how I managed to get to my position despite this feature. And quite frankly, I'm surprised they were surprised, but let's get to it. For one thing, I'm a doctor, but I'm not a doctor in psychology. I have not researched the topic of introvertiveness too deep, and I consider this integral part of myself. So it's just a little bit of a handicap I had to go over to progress with my life because, well, we are social animals, and maybe the social aspect doesn't lay well with me, but I have to adjust in order to exceed expectations, in order to progress. So just to make sure we understand each other, for me, the difference between extrovert and introvert is all about the social interactions and how you feel about them. You can be an introvert, in my definition, where you need to expend energy to have the social interactions, and you can be an extrovert who needs to have the social interactions to regain energy, to be energetic. And of course, this is not the full professional definition. And it's a spectrum, and no one will be either this or that fully. But let's stick to it. I want to tell you how I manage the position or where I'm put between a lot of people I know, I don't know, and I have to have a golden tongue and a good communication skill in order to be a great product manager. And how can I do it when, well, I have limited batteries daily to operate with that? Well, for one thing, it's a bit like with the fear of public presentation. It is a skill that you can learn. It is an endurance bar, like in a game, that will grow the more and more you do it. The more and more you interact with people, the more comfortable it will be, the more energy you have stored to do those things. And I did that sort of unwillingly during the school times, high school, university, where a lot of success in grades and social life were due to social interactions. So I was put in a situation where I had to overcome my eagerness to be alone and interact with the world on my own terms and be more of a team spirit, because this was the only way to do it. And I'm always about reaching the goals. And if reaching my goals had to put me in a situation where there was a lot of social interactions, I had to adapt. And you will have to as well. I can't tell you if it was easy for me or it's not. It was like acquiring a taste for something that you dislike initially, but in time you can eat it because that's the social protocol. I think a key thing to be a good product manager that's an introvert is to realize who you are and what are your limits and consciously work around them. For one thing, you don't want to escape those social interactions. You will sometimes have to push yourself, but at the same time, it will be easier and easier every time. You will grow that endurance bar. But sometimes it will be too short. In that case, it's okay to sometimes skip a meeting. It's okay to say no to a one-on-one meeting that can easily be an email or a quick chat. The reason I mostly help people in chat via LinkedIn, via Discord, and not on one-on-one calls is the fact that I'm an introvert, and having those calls outside work will seriously punish me as an individual and I would be exhausted. Of course, I also don't have time for those calls, so it's easier for me to ask people just to write me what they want, and I can reply whenever it's convenient for me, and it's still the same answer I would have given. But you extroverts would prefer the social interaction, would prefer to see my energy and grow your energy based on that. And that's the border I usually put between myself and my students, because what kind of a teacher would I be if I put myself to exhaustion just to do a little bit more? I need to be on my best energy levels, best behavior, best focus in order to be a great product manager in day and then give you the best possible advice when I have the time to help. But I digress sorta, because I'm leading to the fact that if you don't want specific social interactions, then for example, don't force yourself to go every time for a beer evening with your team. I would recommend you do that from time to time, even every time you can, just to have that spirit of fellowship, get closer, understand one another. But at the same time, if it will be going above and beyond to a point where you need to spend the whole Saturday in your chair in peace and quiet just to regenerate, that makes no sense. That's counterproductive. So manage your energy bar, be aware of it, and work within its limits. Now, what will also help you, don't limit yourself to interactions that are very work strict. Entertain small talk, talk about small stuff, and consider this an exercise that is not with full weight. And that will, in time, really help you out. And I do realize that some of this advice is quite obvious and natural, but in this case, it's about a bit of a catharsis of being aware of one's limits and working within those limits, as I said before. And sometimes it will be about hiding those limits. If you put a smile on your face, if you have that positive attitude and not sit grim in the corner hating people, it will be much better. You can keep the negativity inside of you. It's not that hard. And seriously, if you just smile for, I believe it's 13 seconds, you'll have a better humor anyway. And if you really feel down, you're really grim and you don't want to see another human being, just go to focus room, close yourself, and do some work that will help you regenerate that energy bar just a bit. Let me close this video by giving you a different revelation, that being an introvert doesn't really jeopardize your product management career. Really, as I said, it's something that you can overcome in some situation, and moreover, you are not alone. Extroverts also have their problems. They will struggle on meetings that they are not in the center of. They will struggle with the remote work when they don't have enough interactions. They will not feel comfortable not having enough of the meetings, enough of the casual talk that for you is something that you need to do mindfully in order to grow connections. And if they are not in a situation where those connections are grown, they will suffer. And it's a lot of things that make a human being what we are, and that have different opposites on a scale where you will be somewhere at, and you have to find a way to be the best version of yourself within your own features. To be there for people that need you, to be for the work that you enjoy and you want to excel at. And being afraid that you're an introvert and this will hinder you is just like another excuse for not taking the risk and taking an energy. You might as well say that I don't want to be a product manager because you're afraid that you won't manage to analyze the data correctly or find the right improvements to the product. So, no excuses, just hard work. And to make it easier for you, check out my courses on Udemy and Skillshare. The links are on the screen right now. And subscribe, like, and I'll see you again in the next video. See you then.